Just like Larry and Vicky kept telling me. Man, we hit a white man. We in real trouble.
Oh. Yes, it does make a difference.
Yeah, and that's what keeps knotting me up inside. That's what drives it home, Mama. I mean, really drives it home. Sometimes I wish we'd killed him.
Lou, don't ever let me hear you say that. He was an innocent man. I know how hard it is not to hate, Lou, but hate will destroy you. It'll eat you away. And the problem will still be here. The fact is, an innocent human being was hit by a car. I want you to face that.
Mama, sometimes I feel like I'm flying off into 1,000 different pieces. Mama, I wanted to go to the police. But old Larry... Man, Larry just talked me out of that, and then I talked myself out of it. I thought about Dad and his position here at the hospital. And I thought about Cliff away in some foreign country. And then I thought about you and Dad, and all them plans you had for me. Dr. Lewis Miles. Tried to convince myself that it all just disappeared. Then Vicky.
Well, this baby Vicky's carrying, it's not yours, is it?
No, she held this over my head. I don't blame her. She was looking for a way out.
Lou? What are we going to do?
We? Mama, I think I've got to make the decision.
Yes, it is your decision, but you're part of a family.
Well, I just worry about Dad, about you.
And yourself.
And myself. I think I can get to sleep now.
I love you, son.
Mama, you've got to promise me that you won't tell Dad. I've got to be the one who tells him.
Like you said, Lou, it's your decision.
Good night.
Good night, son.
Yes. So, you came without your client?
Didn't really expect me to drag him over in the middle of the night, did you, Jerry?
Cooperative as always, huh?
I should have figured the way my luck's been running today, I would draw you.
Sit down.
Thank you. Had a bad day?
Ah, miserable. One thing after another.
We all have days like that. They get you out of bed?
No. Shall we get down to business? On a quasi-unofficial basis, of course.
Off the record? Or more or less off the record?
More or less.
I figured as much.
You know, frankly, I don't relish the thought of having to think of a man like Dr. Rossi as, what's the phrase? A pillar of the community as a suspect.
A suspect? On what grounds?
Oh, now, there's Sergeant Walker's statement. You do know about that.
I do.
Well, then you know it doesn't look too good. I just received word from the hospital that Fred Russell is in bad shape. He's undergoing surgery, and it's critical.
Well, that could be. But how does that involve my client?
If it's critical or if it isn't critical, we're still going to need that statement.
No statement.
Oh, now, Stephen, I recognize your right to withhold, but that does imply that you recognize your client's involvement.
It does not.
Let me put it to you this way. If you could persuade Dr. Rossi to give us a statement, it might save him and us a lot of time and trouble. Up to now, it's a bit one-sided. All we've gotten is the police story.
Well, the known facts are that Fred Russell had been drinking very heavily. Now, that's a matter of record. He had an accident, fell and hurt himself. Lucky for him, my client rushed him to the hospital. Now, under the circumstances, my client can hardly be considered a suspect.
Ah, but that's it. Under the circumstances, that's what he is, suspect. We suspect him. Look, if that phone rings and I hear that Russell died on the table, although his chances don't look too good, this investigation becomes official. And then, regardless of your client's position in his community, he'll be the man we'll talk to.
Are you saying that you're claiming enough circumstantial evidence to build a case? Based on what?
Rossi had been planning to marry Russell's ex-wife, right? Would you be prepared to state there were no hard feelings between the two men? That there was no connection between Russell's heavy drinking and his ex-wife's proposed marriage to Rossi?
Well, that's all hypothetical.
Oh. Well, what about the reason why Mrs. Russell came to Sergeant Walker? He stated it was because she was afraid of violence, afraid of a fight. You know, it was Mrs. Russell and Sergeant Walker who found your client in Russell's room with her unconscious ex-husband. What was Rossi doing there? It's also on record that your client had been looking for Russell. Wouldn't you say that's enough to go on with?
Well, that's Sergeant Walker's version. I'm afraid we'll have to let it go at that for tonight.
All right. Of course, if Russell pulls through, the investigation may be relatively simple. But if he doesn't, I'm afraid we've got a case against your client. You're aware of that.
I think you are counting your chickens. Russell isn't dead yet.
Fred, Mike said I could see you for a minute.
Here. Wonderful.
You're going to be all right now.
I love you. Come closer.
I'm right here.
Doctor Rossi, this to me.
No, Fred. Dr. Miles operated.
Like Rossi is responsible for this. You'll understand. Mike did this to me. Mike Rossi did this to me.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
If you're talking about Lou,
I am. He'll come to you. I know it. I know he will.
when? Next week, next month, next year?
It doesn't bother you that you couldn't get anything from your grandfather while he was alive, but that you have no qualms about taking it now that he's dead.
Whatever happened between these two men, it could not be helped. Sure. Now listen to me.